on the class win and of course third place.
Thank you very much. Yeah, very happy.
Well done indeed, and hope Dad's car's not too broken. Okay, Chaz, back to you then for the race. The cars have now gone out of the assembly area, should be in your sight.
Thank you very much, mate. Yes, we do have the cars making their way around then. So the Sigmax machines are going to be headed up by number 28 Harry Senior, with Simon Griffiths in the number 16 alongside him. Row 2 is going to be 25 Stephen Clark and number 1 Kevin Barrett. Row 3, number 9 Neil Sturgis and number 24 Ben Winrow. Then it's Adam Bettinson in the number 71 alongside 72 Glenn Burtonshaw. Gareth Cordy in number 33 is 9th, ahead of Luke Juru in number 36 in 10th. Then we have Charlie Cahill in the number 91 ahead of Peter Marsh in the number 8. There will then be a 10-second delay before the Sigma 135s are launched from the grid, which is headed up by James McCall in number 50. Then it's going to be Craig Atkins in 81 and Robin Webb in 77. Next up we have Mark Noaro in number 68 with Jonathan Moore in number 47 and Richard Clegg in 76. 23rd on the grid is going to be Neil Evans in the 34 car ahead of Alaric Barney in number 60, followed by Lydia Gould in 65 and Aki Hussein in 92. Then it's Andrew Cooper in car 90 ahead of Alistair Curry in 29. Adam Harrison's number 11 car lines up alongside Simon White's number 57 car. And then the back row of the grid is going to be Merton Wood in the 13, unlucky for some, and Michael Segal in the number 89 machine. So another 2 grids racing together this afternoon. Like I say, a 10-second delay here, just because these cars do have a bit more of a performance difference than we saw earlier on between the Sigmax and the 150 cars. Looks like we might have just had a little bit of an issue there for the number 60 machine. He didn't seem to get going again once he stopped at the chicane. There's a bit of a traffic jam back here, but we can just see now on the main straight they are separating the cars out. And I'm not 100% sure on this, but to me it looks like one of the Sigmax cars has been placed on the grid with the 135s. No, it's not. Apologies. It just looked for a second like it was then. I thought they'd left one too many on the well, one off the back of the Sigmaxes and then lined them up straight away, but no, we are all good. The marshals doing their job properly, and I should not doubt them for a second. Thanks again to all of our marshals and officials round the circuit today for doing another wonderful job. Without them we could not go racing, so the wonderful Orange Army, as they're known, really making everything possible at the moment, and we thank them so often because they deserve it, quite frankly. They are a bunch of incredible people. Don't forget that marshalling is voluntary as well. Do check it out if you want to try it for yourself, get up close with the motorsport and obviously help things run smoothly and safely. But now the green flag is going to get waved at the back of the grid. The lights are on for the Sigmaxes and they're away, and Senior leads them away well, but has he got the secondary run over Griffiths? Looks like it. The side-by-side round turn 1, and the Sigma 135s now leave the grid as well. There's a big bunch up between the lead 2, behind the lead 2 I should say. They're almost 3, even 4 wide as they go through the first couple of corners. Looks like everybody behaving themselves so far. You never know what you're going to get with Caterham Racing. That's the best thing about it. You never know when you're going to get them all just single file or whether they're going to come towards you 4 wide, which I imagine we might see into this final chicane. But around the back part of the circuit you can see the cars dancing around on the live stream, and they head towards Church Corner for the first time. I think Griffiths is the car that's taken the lead, although it looks to me like he's just been passed as if he was standing still by Senior, who's come back at him. They now have quite the gap over the 135s, battling together side by side for the lead as they come into the chicane. Hard onto the brakes is Griffiths in the white car down the inside. Senior tries to tuck it in and join in with the queue. Winrow's in there as well in the 24 machine. Everybody keeping it nice and tidy. The number 72 well stuck in there. That's Burtonshaw side by side. Not 100% sure who it was he was side by side with, I'm afraid. I think it was Cordy in one of the other orange cars. We've got a bit of contact in the 135s. We've got a mudguard going flying, or a wheel arch at least, and that is the number 76 machine that has shed bodywork. He's shaking his head. He's really not happy. He's almost lost both of the rear mudguards. That's the number 76 machine, I say again. 135 driven by Richard Clegg. And hopefully he can carry on without any further issue. I think he just got collected as he got to the apex into the final chicane. Watching the leaders now as they just come back into sight round Church Corner again. It looks like we've got the top two single file, but then third and fourth were side by side on the way into Church. They've sorted themselves out now, but the slipstream up towards the final chicane is absolutely massive. You could end up fifth out of Church and first by the time you get up here, but it's Winrow in the 24 that's got it together, or has he got it together? He's very sideways. There's a bit of patience being tested there on the 25 car of Clark. He was fourth at the start of this lap and he's still fourth now. And side by side down the inside, I think that was Senior chucking it up the inside into the first corner. And now the 135's come into view, and it is going to be McCall still leading the way in the bright green number 50. Keep my eye out for where the 76 has got to. He's actually caught up to the back of the number 11, which is Harrison. It looks like he's going to get the run on him as well out of the last corner. We've got the 89 dropping off a little bit there. That's Segal. And then Wood in the number 13. I said unlucky for some earlier. Just taking his time through the final chicane, keeping it neat and tidy. Have 16 minutes of this race still to go, and I believe that we're going to see a lot of traffic in the latter stages here. These Sigmax cars are definitely going to catch some of the 135s. Now 3 wide almost for the lead, maybe even 4 wide as they come back up to the final chicane. I mentioned earlier that they can go 4 wide, these things. Just dancing around on the brakes. Winrow turns it one way, then the other. There's nearly contact between Griffiths and the 28. The 71 goes off the circuit as well. That was Bettinson. And now suddenly the train of 5 cars at the front has become either 8 or 9. I believe it's 8 of them. Sigma 135 lead battle still going on. McCall and Atkins breaking away from everybody else. There's a bit of a check up here as the space suddenly runs out. The 68 car squeezing the 34 to the outside of the circuit as well. That was Noaro and Evans getting very, very friendly indeed. They got held up by Barney just in front of them, who lost a place to Webb on that lap. Very close battling all the same. That's the thing though, in a chicane like that, as soon as any of them lose any little bit of ground, they can suddenly be caught up by another driver trying to overtake them. You can 1 minute be attacking here and then suddenly have to defend straight away. Now here comes the lead pack once again. It looked to me like Clark really lost a lot of pace there suddenly in towards the final chicane. Sideways again is Bettinson. Senior's dropped a few places on that lap, and it's actually the number 9 of Sturgis that's gone up from 6th position up to 4th. And Winrow has gone to the very front of the pack again in the bright yellow 24 car. Here comes McCall and Atkins again. There's a battle for 5 of them all together behind. That becomes 6 very quickly as it all concertinas together in the chicane. There's more contact between the numbers 60 and 47. Shake of the head from the number 60. That's Barney. Now, he was the one holding them up on the previous lap, but now he's thoroughly involved in it. The cars ahead of him were Evans and Moore. Noiro has gained 3 places on that previous lap as well. So he's making steady progress through that pack, leading the 135s at the moment though. Still McCall from Atkins and then Webb. That top 3 stayed the same on that lap. We wait once again for the leaders to come back through. They're all together through Church Corner. Just to put it into context, the top 8 were all separated by 2.1 seconds on that last lap, and now that train has got longer than 8. I think there's 10 of them together here. In more ways than one. Griffiths just holding on to it. Winrow nearly gets involved in contact with Senior. He does get contact with Senior. He goes across the inside of the chicane, and then it's the number 9 that has to come through. That's Sturgis again looking to gain another place, but he's only just got back up into 4th position. And Griffiths loses the lead. If I can speak English, it'd be great. Clark goes through into the lead of the race at turn 1. So while Griffiths will show as the leader on all of your timing screens for now, that is very much not the case. Now in the 135s, we still have this 7-car battle into the final corner. Everybody just shuffling around, making sure they leave each other room. Great awareness there, I must say, from the bright orange number 68 car of Noiro. It looked like the car in front of him really squeezed him to the apex, didn't quite realise that he was still alongside, and Noiro got out of it. He made sure that he didn't make the contact, so they can both continue. Nearly at the halfway point of this race. And you see what I mean when I told you earlier that there are so many position changes in Caterham racing. You never know who is going to be where. I praise Noiro for his awareness there, but he's actually lost 3 places on that previous lap, unfortunately. Now, they're 3 wide for the lead overall once again in the Sigmax class. They're very sideways behind. That's Bettinson, and he's around. Oh, there's even a bit of a tap, I think, with the number 9 car who's just shed a wheel arch. That's Sturgis. He was 4th starting this lap. The 2 of them seemingly making contact, either that or spinning in sympathy of one another, but they both came in very, very hot into the final chicane. They both lose out as a result. Now McCall and Atkins nearly swapping places there. McCall manages to just hold on ahead of him. Atkins following very closely in second. Then it's the 77 of Webb, who's very much on his own here. Probably not even aware of the crazy train that's following along just a few seconds back. And it seems that we've lost Griffiths and Winrow, actually. I've just seen it back on the feed. We've lost them at turn 1. There was big contact between them and they've ended up in the wall. Obviously they've not had a chance to come back around yet, so I've not seen that they were missing, but it looks like they've both gone into the wall very hard. Apologies for that. Obviously I'm not commentating from the live pictures directly. I'm commentating on the PA on the circuit here. But I do have the feed to my right hand side just to see if there's anything else that I'm missing. That's exactly why I've got it. So that lead group now, very different to how it was a lap or so ago. I'll see if anybody's got any guilty damage on the front of their car. But it's Clark that leads now from Senior, the number 1 machine right up there too. That's Barrett. And we actually still have Winrow here with us. He's come back through, but down in 10th place, is he? 9th now. Oh no, 8th. Never mind. I'll get it third time round. It's Bettinson that's gained a spot. Griffiths is limping back. Actually, I can see him making his way to the final chicane. He's just trying to stay out of everybody's way here and make sure he's not on the apex for the chicane. But his car is very badly damaged and it's crabbing like mad. He's done a great job to get it back, to be fair to him. I think the right rear is very, very broken on that car. He'll be absolutely gutted. He's been right in the thick of it all day. It's Griffiths. Unfortunately, a little bit too in the thick of it now. That car goes straight behind the wall into the paddock. That'll be the end of his day's
I think
race.
we've got another car gone off down there. We've got double waved yellows now. Oh no, it's all right. It's a marshal picking up a mudguard, traditional Caterham debris.
Yes, indeed. They come off quite easily, which is pretty good actually. I've seen people reattach them after incidents, which just shows how sturdy they can be. Now we've got Clark and Senior right together. Don't forget, Senior started on pole position in this race with Griffiths alongside him. So now that Griffiths is out of the way, into the final chicane. Bettinson has had another moment here. He's really taken it hot into this last chicane. He's outdone himself once again. Winrow taking advantage of that. We've also got the numbers 8 and 91. Cahill and Marsh catching up to Wood in 28th place, putting a lap on him. But yeah, looking at the feed, there are plenty of mudguards down at this final corner. It looks like we might get another one right now. There's the number 76 again out of shape. He had contact earlier on, did Clegg, and now he's outdone it again. He didn't loop it completely, but he had a big old slide. There's a huge lock-up as well from somebody just a place or two behind him. I think it might have been Cooper. Real shame though for Griffiths. Interesting that Winrow could have a moment that big at turn 1 and still continue with the race, to be fair, because it's a nasty place to have an off, this turn 1 here at Thruxton. But out of the final corner then, with just under 7 minutes to go, comes our lead train, still fighting hard. Now it's the top 2, followed by the remaining 3 of that initial pack. Then it's actually spread out a little bit, quite surprisingly as well for Caterham Racing. It's actually spread out for once behind them. We've got the battle between Marsh and Cahill coming through the last corner. Cahill tries to get the run on the exit, but Marsh holds him up because he had a real mess of that bit. And then it's McCall and Atkins who are still both leading the 135s. A bit more lively action in this as well. The 47 going past the number 60 of Barney, who again slams on the anchors. Oh, we've got the 90 around just in front of me here as well. Cooper has had a moment at the chicane. Bit of a scary rejoin. Right across the nose of the 65 of Gould. Video won't be happy with that one. I don't think anybody would, to be fair, because just instantly came back on the circuit in front of them. But luckily they all live to fight another day. Now our leaders once again side by side into the final corner. Behind them, the other 3 having a really good scrap here. That's Churro, Barrett and Burtonshaw. And Burtonshaw was in front and he's now just lost both places out of the final corner. Really didn't get a good run out of there. It's hurt him a lot in terms of position, but again, this is Caterham Racing. He could very quickly gain those places back again. Now this Cahill-Marsh battle at the back of the Sigmaxes is actually holding up the Sigma 135 battle. That's how quick McCall and Atkins have been in this race so far. McCall going through down the inside of Cahill, and the rest of the 135s coming through the chicane now. So a huge lock-up for one of them here. I think that was Hussein, the 92 it was. And then just a little bit further behind them, another battle there between the 57 and the 11. That's Harrison and White. They've swapped round on this lap, and then very quickly once again attention turns to our race lead battle. Senior now ahead of Clark. A little bit sideways on the brakes there from Senior. The number 1 of Barrett is starting to open up the gap slightly from Juru and Burtonshaw. Really good lap actually last time round. Barrett doing a 1:27.9. The other's in the 1:28.7s. Fastest lap of the race is still done by Winrow, which was done on lap 4. McCall, Atkins and Moore all doing their personal bests last time round. And they're just coming into the final corner now with Cahill and Marsh. Now they've cleared both of them on that lap, McCall and Atkins. So they're now ahead of some of the Sigmaxes. They've made up that 10-second gap and then overtaken them. As there's more battling going on again, it's Barney holding people up on the exit of the corner, but he's getting the car stopped and making sure that he's not overdoing it on the track limits. So fair play to him. Then it's Noiro in there just behind Clegg. A few cars locking up on their way into this last chicane, but as the tyres lose a lot of life at this point in the race, you are going to get it. They're demanding more of the car as they get further and further through the race. 2.5 minutes left to go. And it's side by side into the final chicane again for third place. Barrett trying to hold on. He runs wide on the exit of the corner and he's going to cost Churu time. Doesn't lose out to Burtonshaw yet anyway. Winrow trying to get past Bettinson. They're side by side across the line as well as they go flying round turn 1. And then the attention comes back to the Sigma 135 lead battle between McCall and Atkins. McCall in the bright green, number 50. Atkins in the number 81. Almost chrome machine. And then we've got the rest of the 135s all in a slightly dotted train through the last chicane. A little bit of a moment there for the 89 car of Seagal. Not a very attritional race so far though, which is often the case with Caterham racing, to be fair. You only really get it when there's been an incident, and obviously we had the incident earlier on between Winrow and Griffiths, which despite being quite a big off, Winrow was able to carry on. Griffiths the only car not to still be running after he damaged the suspension, I believe, on the right rear. Now there's our race leaders through the final corner. Clark and Senior, they're going to start their final lap of the race, and then behind them it's developed into a 4-car train now between Churu, Barrett, the number 9 of Sturgis, and I believe that's Cordy in there as well with them. Apologies, it's Burtonshaw. Cordy's a little bit further back in the orange car, not the green car, as I mistakenly assumed. But for the first time pretty much all race, we've actually got quite a gap here before we have the next couple of cars, which are the 2 leaders in the 135s and the 2 last placed Sigmax cars. They're not tripping over each other though, they're behaving themselves at the moment. I think the Sigmax guys know that they've got the power advantage, but in terms of the other 2 racing, they know it's for the lead in their class, so pretty important for them. The rest of the 135s make their way round. But any moment now, our overall race leaders will be making their final ascent to the last corners. And here they are, arriving on the scene side by side, and it looks like Clark has massively overdone it. But is Senior going to get held up at the final corner? It doesn't look like it. Clark's got a brilliant run though. He's going to try and go side by side across the line. It's not going to work. Senior takes the win from Clark in second place. Brilliant stuff. Tsuru is going to finish in third place, just ahead. I think that was Barrett, wasn't it, in fourth? No, Sturgis got it from Burtonshaw and then Barrett in sixth. Cordy crosses the line seventh, and then it's going to be Winrow and Bettinson eighth and ninth. Now the next 2 cars are going to be coming out of Church Corner now, which are going to be the leaders in Sigma 135, getting very close together, unnecessarily close together you could say. Don't make contact, boys, it's the final corner. Hard onto the brakes they go. It's McCall still leading Atkins. Can Atkins get a good run out of the final corner? It's not going to be enough. McCall is going to take the win in the Sigma 135's. Brilliant drive Atkins pressuring him all the way through. Cahill and Marsh just behind. And then Moore is going to take third place in the Sigma 135s after a very valiant defence from the rest of them. I think Noaro just had Barney on the line as well there. He did. Just overtook him at the very end, as we have the rest of the Sigma 135s making their way through. Now, before the most exciting action of the day, I'm going to have to unfortunately cut my commentary short for a moment. I just need to take a very quick toilet break before the very exciting finale to our racing here today, which will be the British Truck Racing Championship in just a few minutes' time. But John will have some driver interviews for you in just a few minutes when they make their way back in.
Well, thanks, Chaz, and he's dead right. The truck's lining up behind us, and the Caterham's now coming back into the Parc Ferme area. So I'm going to do my best to talk to the first three from each class if we get a chance. But looks like we're going to get the truck race away a little earlier than the scheduled programme time, which is good for everybody. So let's wander down the queue. I found Luke, so we can have a quick word with Luke. Luke, just trying to find everybody and not come back in order, so a bit more difficult, but where were you? Second, was it, in class? Let's just have a check. Yeah, third in class, yeah, third in class, so happy with that?
I'm very happy with that. This is my second weekend back after having a year off last year. So yeah, to be back on the podium after 2 weekends is just really good. Really good.
And a bit more improvement still to come, maybe?
Hopefully, yes.
And we'll find that out tomorrow now, because you're able to take a little break until tomorrow, or you finished for the day?
I'm finished for the day, but I'll be back with the grads at Donington in a few weeks.
Yeah, because with the mixed classes, one class goes home tonight, and that's you, isn't it? Yeah.
That is me, yeah. A beer and football tonight.
Well, good luck and congratulations. Good luck for the rest of the season.
Thanks very much.
Thank you. That's Luke Seguro. And can we find the number 28 car?